do this real fast before it comes out. This is my car right here. So I've always
awesome.
been about branding. So yeah, you can kind of see it. So it's got the green wheels and everything. So
that is awesome.
I think nobody would dare be that crazy to drive something like this, but yeah. So he did the whole. Yeah, he did this for me. So
that is so awesome. I love it.
I love it.
Great here in Salt Lake City.
It's great. Yeah, Salt Lake City. And I was going to ask you about that. That's one of my first questions. What's it like out there, and how did you end up there?
Well, that could be our whole half hour. So let me give a short version of that, because I never in my life saw myself living in Salt Lake City. And I'll give you the whole story, but I really will try to keep it concise. So I was born in the Washington, D.C. area.
Okay.
Virginia, Northern Virginia, Fairfax area.
Sure.
Lived there all the way through undergrad. You didn't ask me my whole basic life story, but this all leads to the Salt Lake City.
No. Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Went to George Mason undergrad. So met my what was later to become my ex-wife, my first wife. Followed her to California, back and forth across the country a little bit. But I went to law school in Atlanta. That's how I know
Josh.
Indirectly, that's how you and I are connected. Yeah,
that's right.
Went through a divorce and had 3 kids back in 2006. Yeah, 2006. Mm-hmm. And my then wife, who I still love dearly, she's awesome. We have a great relationship.
Good.
We didn't have any family there in Atlanta. She had a lot of family and connections and home in Salt Lake City area, so she wanted to move out there. That was cool with me, except I had I'm sort of covering a lot of ground here, Taryn.
It's good.
Just made partner at my law firm, Fisher and Phillips, now Fisher Phillips and Fisher and Phillips. So it took me a little while, but I eventually had to get to where my kids were. So about a year later, I moved out to Salt Lake City, 2008, or beginning of 2008, I guess it was.
Okay.
And I've been here ever since. So that's going on 14 years almost exactly. That's crazy to me. And I love it here. I wouldn't live anywhere else. And I've lived DC area, Atlanta, Southern California, various places, and they all have their pros and cons, but I really love living here in Salt Lake City. It's a great mix of the things you want in a city and not much of the things you don't want. So
that's cool.
Long answer to your question.
No, very good. No, that was good. I mean, very good detail, and because again, you answered some of my questions right there. I've never been to Salt Lake City, but I've heard it's really pretty, and one of these days I will get out there. I guess the closest I've been to geographically is Phoenix, Arizona. That's where my recent school I just finished there was based out of. But and I'm kind of teaching in Phoenix, Arizona right now, although it's online. So that's kind of. But how far is it, would you say, from about right there? Is that still good distance?
It's the Southwest. So
okay.
I understand if you're from the East Coast.
I kind of lumped it out there. Yeah, exactly.
But it's it would be a long drive. It'd probably be. Gosh, to get to Arizona, it's about 5 hours from here.
Oh wow! Okay, I didn't realize.
And then to Phoenix, I'm guessing maybe another at least 2 hours.
Right. Yeah.
Someone's gonna watch this and say he's way off, but I'm guessing.
No, you're probably right in the. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so it's much different. Phoenix is beautiful also, but it's only one weather there. It's always either hot or hot.
Yeah, exactly.
We actually get snow and stuff like that here, but it's also, we're still the desert. It gets real hot here too.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. I've heard so much nice things about your location and being out there and the climate and everything else. And so you'd mentioned, Josh, our mutual friend, Joel. And so, just like him, you're an employment lawyer then. Is that correct?
Right. That's all I've ever been in my grown-up life.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to what I said before, graduated law school. I don't know if I said the year before. It was 1998 from Georgia State here in Atlanta. Immediately went to Fisher & Phillips, which is an employment law boutique firm. I knew coming out of law school that's what I wanted to do, thanks to thanks to a class I took in law school, actually.
Oh, okay. Okay. So,
Yeah.
And how did you meet Josh? Was that at school? I might have asked him, but I can't remember exactly.
Yeah. So Josh, I don't know if you've met Josh's boss.
I have not yet. No. I've heard a lot of good things about him though.
Yeah,
Todd Stanton.
awesome. Yeah, Todd Stanton. He's an awesome dude. He started at the Stanton Law Firm, where Josh works.
Yeah.
So Todd, I think it was his first job out of law school, although he could correct me on that. I believe it was his first job was at Fisher and Phillips. So he started there, I'm thinking maybe 3 or 4 years after me. So he was a little year to me. So I got to know Todd then. We worked together for a couple of years. And it's funny, I have not talked to Todd since we both left Fisher and Phillips back in like 2000. For me, it was 2007. For him, I think it might have been 2006. And through crazy social media connections, I hooked back up with Todd recently, like 3 or so months ago. That led me to meeting Josh. I think I watched one of Josh's podcasts or listened to one of Josh's podcasts.
Oh, okay.
I was very impressed with it. I sent him a LinkedIn message or something like that, and we sort of clicked. And so that's how I know Josh. I've never met the guy other than through video. Only known him a few months, but seems like a real cool guy. And he spoke very highly of you. And so here you and I are.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. No, you're right. Very good people. And also, I guess there's another indirect connection there, because I think you had asked me about Jeff Otis. That's your cousin, is it not?
Yeah. He's married to my cousin, so I guess that makes him my cousin-in-law. Yeah. Yeah.
What
so
a small
he's a
world.
Professor, or I think he's a professor
at Georgia State University. Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He probably wouldn't remember me. We were in the same department because I was only an adjunct there. This is several years ago. I met him briefly, but I'm sure he wouldn't even remember me. Or he might. I don't know. But yeah, really nice guy, very highly regarded, and everyone talks very well about him. But again, that's such a small world, and we were in the exercise and kinesiology department. But and speaking of exercise, Josh told me that you are, again, I'm not knowing too much about your background, but I know that fitness has always been a passion of yours, Bob. And so you mentioned that you've been an employment lawyer most of your, pretty much all your career. What's been your take on fitness, personal training? If we kind of talk about that for a minute here, what kind of got you interested in that in the first place?
Yeah, and that reminds me, I sort of told a not 100% accurate statement before, because I have done another job in my big adult life, my big boy
as a
life.
Personal trainer.
And that was, I did take a break in between, so I'm glad you reminded me of that. In between Fisher and Phillips and a job, I worked for a company called Employers Council.
Yeah.
From 2008 to 2010, I worked as a personal trainer.
Cool.
So I'll answer the question broadly and then get back to the specific personal trainer issue. So
yeah, sure.
In thinking about you and I talking, I was sort of wondering, thinking to myself, how long have I been serious about exercise? And it's funny, I got my first weight set. I'd love to hear your story too. I got my first weight set, I think, for Christmas. It was those plastic weights that were filled with cement. I don't even know.
Right. Yeah, sure.
I don't even know if they make those anymore. And I know you're a lot younger than me, so I don't know if generationally that.
I know what you're talking about.
But anyway, I'm thinking I was probably 13. So that's funny, and I was a skinny kid, sort of one of the smaller kids. And I just wanted to get more muscle, basically. That's where it all started. And I remember the first time I looked in the mirror and I saw a little bicep, I was like, yeah, wow. And it was amazing. I remember the amazing connection. I was like, wow, I worked hard doing stupid things, probably nothing but curls, nothing but curls in my little 13-year-old scrawny body, but it changed my body. And I was like, that's amazing. It was hit or miss for several years, teenage years. I was more interested in doing less healthy things, probably for several years, but I got pretty serious about going to the gym and taking, and at least on the physical activity side, taking serious care of myself, probably around the age of 19 or 20.
Okay.
And I'm 52 now. So it's been like over 30 years. I've been really pretty serious about this stuff. Reading about it, studying about it, practicing it myself, trying different things. And it was just a hobby. for all that time. I eventually did start doing things besides bicep curls, and got what I think pretty smart about it. And you know this, Taryn, smart changes over time. What we thought was smart 20 years ago is not necessarily the best fitness or diet exercise today. But even for your own body, that changes, or certainly, maybe most importantly, for your own goals.
Yeah.
And my goals have changed radically from when I was a 13-year-old scrawny kid and I just wanted to get more muscles. Now, that's a whole nother discussion, which again, I'd love to talk with you about that, to put our heads together.
Yeah.
But as far as, okay, how did I actually become a personal trainer? So back in 2000, I keep tying these stories together. So made partner at my law firm, Fisher and Phillips, in 2006. Stuck, and that's that was my big goal in life. And again, this is another story also, but to the detriment of everything else in my life. I mean, I mentioned getting divorced. I really gave my life and myself to this law firm job, for better and worse. For 10 years, reached my ultimate goal of making partner, and then realized, wow, I really sacrificed everything else. I'm making a little bit more money now, but really the job is the same. What did I just do for 10 years? And it was sort of and between that and my marriage breaking up and other just personal stuff in my life, it was a rough time in my life. Rough time, like getting therapy, getting medication type.
Sure. Yeah. I can imagine.
So I thought I was done practicing law. I quit that job, and I was like, that almost killed me. And I guess, and what's sad, I didn't say this, I loved being a lawyer for many years, but eventually it ground me up, and it took me a while to realize it, but I hated it by the end. And it was just, I think, sucking my soul out. So I really thought I was done. I said, I'm not going to practice law anymore. What else can I do? Because I didn't really have any other skills. I was a really good employment lawyer. I had never done anything else. Wow. So I was like, I don't want to practice law. What do I like doing? And I did the old follow your dreams, and and success will come. So I was like, you know what? I like exercising. I like reading about it. I like studying about it. I like understanding it. I like trying things. So I went and got my NASM certification.
Yeah. That's one of the best, definitely.
Yeah. Hard test for surprising.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. You can't. It was. I think it was a lower passage rate than the bar exam, if I remember correctly.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. But anyway, went and got a job at 24 Hour Fitness, which you've probably heard of them. I don't know if they're on the East Coast, but
we have them out here.
Okay, sure. I don't know what's going on. They're not in Utah anymore. They're hurting. That's a whole. I don't know if they're even around. I don't know if they're surviving. But anyway,
that's a good question. Could be maybe some effect from the pandemic, I'm guessing. Maybe.
Yeah, and I don't want to badmouth them, but I think they had some management problems too. But anyway, I worked there from about 2008, middle of 2008 till 2010. And then I got this job at Employers Council, but again, that's another story. We're asking, how did I become a personal trainer? So I think that answers it. And I'll tell you, Taryn, I loved it, but man, it is a hard way to make a living. It is a really hard way to make a living.
Yeah, and I'm curious, what are some of the challenges and some of the hardest things that you found when you did that?
Well, I only did it at a gym. I never was brave enough to do what you're doing out on your own, like I'm doing as a lawyer now, which is terrifying and exciting. I wonder. I feel like I had to start like that. I don't know if you don't really have any. I don't know if you have any credibility to go out and start being a trainer if you've never trained anyone before. Like, you probably have to.
You're right. It's harder. Yeah, you're definitely right.
So that's what I did, and what I immediately found out, and this is very much a disillusioning moment for me, is at least at that gym, when you are hired as a personal trainer, your job isn't really personal training. Your job is to sell personal training.
That's true. You hit it on the head. I totally agree with you 100%.
And did you ever do the gym thing?
Yes, I started that way too. And what you said, that's a whole nother 30 minutes right there for sure that we'll have to do our next video blog on, because what you said is very, very true. and I can answer that as a good thing and a bad thing, because the negative thing is, yeah, I felt like a used car salesman, when I first started working as a personal trainer. On the flip side, I didn't know anything about sales, so I do have to credit one of the first places I hooked up with. Actually, they're here in Atlanta, and they taught me everything I know about selling. But what you said is absolutely true. When you're a personal trainer for most fitness centers, it is the art of selling and upselling too,
Yeah.
continually.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's it. You're
Yeah.
right.
And I loved having the relationship just the same way. I mean, I think one of the things I loved about it is the same thing I love about being an employment lawyer is
Sure.
really having a very close, intimate sometimes
Yeah.
relationship
Sure.
with your client,
Yeah.
and helping them. They have a goal, and you happen to know something that can help them, and you
Yeah.
help them reach their goal, and that's a really cool thing to be able to do.
Yeah.
But anyway, that I'm actually surprised I stuck it out for as long as I did, because that very quickly soured me,
Mm-hmm.
on it. I loved the 45 minutes or the 50 minutes or whatever I was actually with a client training them. But the rest of it, I just didn't like the job very much. So I did it for 2 years. But, if I ever were to go back to it, and it's possible I would, now I would go out, I'd do something similar to what you're doing. I would try it on my own. At least
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully I have a little bit better sense on how to start a business, since I'm in the process of that with the law business.
Yeah, well, it's cool, the analogies you made there with helping people, and how that aligns a lot with what you're doing. And I agree that I think any commercial, corporate, any type of big fitness center would flat out be lying if they didn't agree with what you said, because given the choice, for example, if you were to take any of those top managers, directors of a big gym, and ask them if they had two choices, to say, one, Bob can make his client very healthy and lose 20 pounds and reach their goal. And number two, Bob can sell you $2,000 for sure every week on, which one are they going to choose? Of course, it's a no-brainer when it comes down to it. That they're money driven. That is number one. And I get that to a degree, to some extent, as far as being a business. But my attitude, I think you and I have a lot in common here, Bob. That I always focused on the art of getting results for my clients, because the way my brain, I think it thinks the way it's same as yours, is that if I can make them lose, say, 20 pounds and get them healthier, then that's already a given. They're probably going to go ahead and continue signing up with me anyway, which would be an added benefit. So I think you're right. I think that, not only, it sounds like you'd be a really good personal trainer. It sounds like you were, and that you could do that if you wanted to. And have you thought, Bob, about doing it while you're doing the implant? Could you juggle both do part-time personal training while doing what you're doing? Or is
That's an interesting question. And I guess in large part, it depends on how busy I get with my company.
Yeah.
I just started, we didn't even talk about this, but I worked at the place I mentioned before, Employers Council, from 2010 to 2000 to just 3 or 4 months ago. So
oh wow, okay.
So and then in November or so of 21, I started my
Yeah.
own company. So it's right now I don't have tons of clients. I'm still in the client building phase. So yeah, I could
Sure.
certainly do personal training right now. I guess I'm hoping. Taryn, actually, now that you say it, I was just going to say, I was going to answer your question by saying, I guess I'm hoping I get so busy with my law work, I wouldn't have time for personal training, but you just planted an idea in my head. I was like, wait a second, maybe I should just like half and half, do, because it was a lot of fun. And to be able to do it truly, even if it's one client, and it's only because we want to work together. I'm not trying to sell them something. I'm not trying to sell them this month's special on protein powders or whatever. So some food for thought. I'll think about that.
Yeah, I totally agree, Bob. I think that also, I agree that your best clients are the ones that are serious, that are going to want to train with you and work with you. But what I find that unique, using myself as an example. So yes, I'm a full-time personal trainer. I run my own personal training company, but on the side, I also teach for a university, as I mentioned, the one out there in Phoenix, Arizona, part-time. And I'm always doing other things just on the side to dabble and just supplementally. But I think that what I envision for you, if you were to leverage your time and do both your personal training brand as well as your employment brand, that's a great way to leverage maybe both of them to help each other in some ways. Because I think that with you and I, a big part of our business for finding clients and keeping them loyal is networking and who you know, and building relationships like you mentioned. So if you were to build those relationships and even sometimes friendships with both your personal training business and with your employment law business, I think it's probably sounds like a win-win. It's kind of
Yes.
similar, just to take a step further, I think that's what Josh is doing too. Our friend Josh, not only he works for Todd, but Josh also on the side has, and I don't know how to explain, I'll say it wrong, but some subsidiary law tangent that he's doing in conjunction with someone else. So I
Oh, I
think
didn't
that's
know that.
good. Yeah, I think he just recently went into that endeavor, but
Hopefully he's told Todd about that, and you didn't just bust him.
he did. Yeah. He absolutely did, because that was one of my questions to him, and he said that went really well. So
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah. But I'm a big believer as it sounds like we're a lot alike in terms of the way our minds think as being entrepreneurs and investing in your own self. Because I believe that. I've been out of working for gyms for at least, let's see, I think 10 or 12 years. I don't know the exact date. But I think that when you work for yourself, I believe you have so much more potential to do, not only because you have time, but also the creativity. I think that's important. And so certainly if you went that route, I'd be happy to talk to you and help. Who knows? We could team up even, maybe. You just never know, because it's all about who you know and what ideas you can generate. So I think that's great. I would say go for it. I think you'd be really
Yeah.
very, very good at that, for sure.
It's such a cool idea that I had not really considered before. So yeah, well, let's brainstorm it.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah, because let's face it, one of the things for personal trainers you need is the charisma and the enthusiasm, which you are, knowing you for 20 minutes now, I already know that you've got it. That's the hardest thing, I think, is to keep that positive. In sports psychology, it's positive reinforcement and such, that you have to be constantly giving that to your clients. And I could see, again, just meeting you for the very first time here, I already know that you have that. And it's probably no different than what you do in your business, for the law firm, and how you help your clients. So kind of go in that direction now. Let's talk about your business now. And you said, I think you mentioned, was it back in November that you had started it up?
Yeah, November 21. So it's
Yeah.
going on 4 months now.
Great.
The company is called Modern Age Employment Law.
Mm-hmm.
It's a company of one. You're looking at the company.
Very cool.
It's the first time I've ever done anything like this. Never in my wildest dreams thought I was going to start a company, but it just so happened it was the right time for so many reasons.
Yeah.
And I mean, really, it just felt like so many reasons. How I felt at my other job, the pandemic, technology, the world in general. It was like, okay, if you were ever going to do it, this is the time. Definitely. So it's been so exciting. I'm basically doing the same stuff I've been doing most of my legal career, which is employment law. I do advice, I do consulting, I draft and review policies and handbooks and all those different employment documents that we love, contracts, things like that. I go out and do training. I do public trainings. And, I'm occasionally out doing events in public. I do trainings at companies, training on employment law topics, harassment, discrimination, FMLA, ADA, FLSA, all those good things. And then if a client does get into trouble and they actually get a legal claim, I can help them with that. But my main goal is to prevent that from ever happening. I really do try to, going back to the relationship thing, I really do try to create and nurture real lasting relationships with clients. And again, it was the same thing with personal training. Yeah. And this is going to sound, I can't say this without sounding, cocky, but I'm just going to say it. I know it's working. I hear it from my clients. They say it's working with you is not like working with any other lawyer or personal trainer way back when, so and nothing makes me happier than to hear that. So I really do. That's the kind of thing I do. I want clients who I want to work with and who want to work with me. Yep. I eventually, and it's not going to take too long, I want to get to the point where I'm being very picky about the clients I work with. I'm not going to take anybody, because I want clients who are as committed to the relationship as I am, because that's going to make a great relationship. And I know that rings true to you as a personal trainer. I mean, gosh, how frustrating is that when you're committed and the client, despite maybe what they say, just isn't. But
it happens. Yeah. I mean, constantly. It definitely happens. You're right. Yeah. Well,
let me do a few shameless plugs to the website.
Let's do that.
Yeah, website,
please, absolutely.
www.modernagemploymentlaw.com, modernagemploymentlaw.com. My email is bobcoursey@modernagelelaw.com. A little bit, I didn't want to have the email address too long, so a little shorter.
Sure.
bob@modernagelelaw.com. I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter. I don't need to give all those, but people can find me. So that's me.
That's excellent. Yeah, that's really cool. And again, we'll put that on the screen when we finish here, so that way, people could freeze the screen if they need to. And I know you and I are connected on social media. And again, it's so great to meet people like you and do this, because again, it's just fascinating. And I think that we do another one of these next month. There's so many things we talked about in this last half hour that I think we can go on different tangents on. Because again, you're right. What you said as far as the relationship, that's a big key right there with personal training, and it's no different than what you do with the employment law. But this has been so much fun, Bob. I really appreciate it. Yeah, this is so cool to meet you. And again, I can't thank Josh enough for hooking us up.
Yeah.
A couple more questions before we let you go. Do you ever get out here to the Atlanta area at all, or has it been a while since you've been here?
I cannot believe this, but I have not been back since I left in 2007.
Wow.
I thought for sure I'd be back regularly, because I still have lots of people I care about out there, family and friends.
Sure.
But for some reason, other than scooting through the airport, I have not. It will happen. And having a few more people, you, Josh, more people out there to tempt me to come out. So
definitely, yeah.
I'll ask you the same thing. Do you ever come to Salt Lake? If you ever want to ski or snowboard or anything, this is the place.
Absolutely. I can tell you this, I have a lot of clients heading out your way here, especially with, we call it, I guess, winter break in February, when the schools are out during President's Day weekend. And then I think some people go like before spring break to head out your way to do all that. And I mean, that's so cool. Again, just I've heard nothing but great things about your area. But you may be the very first. I've interviewed hundreds of people around the country and such, but never, I don't think, in Salt Lake City. I think this is the first. So
that's awesome. I'm proud to be the first. Yeah. Hopefully I'm representing our city well.
I think you are. Absolutely. Yeah. And again, we'll definitely have to do this again next month. Let's definitely, I'm so happy to have met you. And again, anytime you want to brainstorm about personal training and branding and all that stuff, it sounds like you already know a pretty good knowledge on that. So, but anything I can add to it, I'm happy to help. But again, Bob, thank you for your time. And as I mentioned, when we fade to black, we're going to get your contact in the screen there. But I hope you have a wonderful rest of the weekend. And it's so nice to meet you virtually here, Bob.
It's been awesome to meet you too, Taryn. If Josh ends up hearing this, thanks, Josh, for the intro. Weekend, Taryn. And I we will talk again soon.
You got it.
All right.
You got it, Bob. Definitely sounds good. And as we fade to black, here comes your contact information right now.
Awesome.